Well, as many of you know, the Italian voters dealt Premier Renzi a stinging defeat on his reforms referendum movement's determination to gain national power soon. And this is coming out of an AP article carried by Yahoo News. And this is just another anti-establishment nail in the coffin of the EU. Now, of course, Austria, they did just the opposite. Their pro-EU candidate did win just recently, so that's one in the plus cabinet for the Eurozone. And there are other elections that are coming up in the EU as well. In fact, countries accounting for about 40% of the EU economy are going to the polls in 2017, when Chancellor Angela Merkel could be running for a fourth term in Germany. And while it may be too early to say whether or not these elections will determine a bang or bust for the EU, it looks to me that the nationalists could overcome the globalists who want to keep the EU intact. And while it is a long shot for the EU to implode and possibly break up, that certainly is a possibility, and it could be sooner than later. Frankly, as far as Bible prophecy is concerned, I look to see the EU, I believe it will break up. Now, when I say break up, I believe that there will be 10 nations, as the Bible says, that will come together. And through that new union, a leader will rise up out of it who will turn out to be the Antichrist in time. But I think that when everything is said and done, I believe that come the elections in late 2017, that you're going to see some serious ramification and that the Eurozone will be in jeopardy. Now, whether or not that will be the time in which the Eurozone will break up, I don't know. But I do believe at some point in time, this new group of 10 will form sometime in the near future. And when they do, I believe that is when and where the Antichrist will rise up out of. And the reason why I bring this up, because this is definitely one of the prophetic factors that you need to keep your eyes on. Certainly the number one area in the region that you should be looking at is Israel and, of course, Jerusalem. But also there is another region known as the European Union that I believe you need to keep your eyes on as well, because it very well could form this prophetic 10-nation kingdom that will at some point in time allow the Antichrist to rise up out of it. But certainly the problems of the European Union are not going away. And even though it seemed to be a good idea at the time and things were going well, the 26 nations simply cannot get on the same page when it comes to reforms. And even though they have a common market in the Eurozone, there are many things that keep it from expanding and getting out of stagnation at this time. So I have to believe that before the end of 2017, you're going to be seeing some major shifts in the European Union, and possibly it could be on its way to collapse. And coming out of that collapse, or near collapse, will be a 10-nation kingdom, I believe, who will ultimately allow the Antichrist to rise up out of it, and he indeed will make peace with Israel and many. So as I watch this EU surge toward nationalism and away from globalism, I will continue to keep you up to date as to any news that could come up that has a hint as to whether a new union is being formed. And one thing you should know about the Antichrist is this right here, and Satan himself. A lot of people believe that there are outside forces that are controlling, human forces I should say, that are controlling where the last days are headed, but that couldn't be further from the truth. But this is a fairly big group of people who believe this. And most of them believe in the Illuminati, the Bilderbergs, the Masons, and other such sensationalist type things that really have anything to do with Bible prophecy. And I realize that by saying this, I'm going to upset some people because that's exactly what they believe. But the truth of the matter is these individuals or groups are simply not found in the pages of the Bible. The truth of the matter is that they basically have been made up and kind of woven into legitimate Bible prophecy. And every once in a while I'll even hear someone who I thought was legitimate mention these individual groups or whatever the case may be, or some of these crazy theories that simply are outside the page of the Bible, and they'll try to make them as if they are part of Bible prophecy, and they're not. When the Antichrist rises, he will rise up out of 10 kingdoms. These will be actual kingdoms that will come together and will elect or select a leader who will represent them in international things of that nature. So in essence, he will be the president of his 10 kingdom group, just as the President of the United States is here in America. But there will be a turn of events, and the turn of events will be when Satan comes down and is confined to the earth after he loses his battle in heaven, which is found in Revelation chapter 12. He will find a leader that he can possess, and from that point on, that will be the world leader he will groom into becoming dictator. It's not going to be some type of globalist movement or whatever the case may be, where everybody just comes together and agrees to get along. When Satan enters the Antichrist, he will make sure that he is the ruler of this world. And it will not be as part of some globalist movement that world leaders get together and choose to make him the leader. No, this will be an all-out war where Satan will pull down anybody who tries to get in his way. In fact, in Daniel 7:24, it says that there will even be 3 of the 7 or of the 10 who will try to beat Satan and his army, but it says that they will be subdued, and he will continue on to become the leader of this world, and I mean the dictator of this world. And the Bible says in Revelation chapter 13 verse 4 that who will be able to stand or make war against the Antichrist? And simply put, that will be the truth. If not for the fact that the Lord comes back for his second coming, Satan would rule perpetually. It would be a rulership without end. Because simply put, there's no human entity or army that will be able to stop him. And that's simply what the Bible has to say, not folklore, not something that somebody dreamed up in their mind. And that's, like I said, my ministry is basically toward those, or built toward those, who will be left behind and who will have to go through the tribulation period. And this is the type of scenario that they should be looking at instead of some crazy sensationalist conspiracy theory. But the most important message that you're gonna need to hear, and that is that if you don't know the Lord, today is the day of salvation. There's going to be 150,000 people who are going to die at the end of this day. That's just one day. And the Bible says that the vast majority are going to end up in a burning hell. Now, I don't know where you stand today as far as the Lord is concerned, but you do. And you need to make that decision for him today before it's everlasting too late. Friend, you could die today. I mean, there's nothing beyond the realm of dying for anyone. Doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, your day with destiny could be today. So I would recommend that you come to the Lord as quickly as possible. And you, Christians, you need to get a copy of my Tribulation Period Survival Guide and get it in the hands of every lost person that you know. Certainly you can download it for free. There are 9 different language versions, and you can choose from those to download or whatever the case may be and get it to your friends. Or you can get the paperback version, which you can actually hand to your friends, and they'll have something in their hands now, and if they do end up going through the tribulation period, they'll have it then as well. But my recommendation is to get something, one of the two, as quickly as you can. Well, this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.